Welcome back to this week's Modern Mommies here on soulgarden.tv. I am Alexis Moore, the creator of the Superhero Children Project and the mother of a beautiful 3-year-old child. And with me, I've got my co-host, Jennifer Perry, who is a mother of 3 amazing children and is also, she's been working in the Dallas school system for 17 years and is currently working as a school counselor. How are you doing, Jennifer?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is so good to see you again and to be here with you.
You too.
And we've got Christopher Witecki with us today as our token daddy. And Christopher is the Soul Garden, he's the Wizard of Soul Garden and the father of an amazing boy. And we're so happy to have you here with us. How's it going, Christopher?
I'm great. And my son is 17, just for the record.
See, I was going to throw that in there, and then I didn't want to get it wrong.
That's okay. I know. I understand. I'd be the same way.
Like that.
As a parent, I wouldn't try to guess the last minute. Even with I'm just like, oh, your daughter's so cute.
He's a really cool kid, and he does some stuff on Soul Garden too, and I've seen him chime in with you on some other shows, so that's pretty cool.
I make him. That's like the modern equivalent of making work with Dad in the garage. Like I'll make him come work on Soul Garden with me, just so we do something together, since there is no garage in the modern man's world.
Having his own blog spot there is pretty cool, though, because you're giving him a place to have his own voice. So that's neat. I like that. I'm
trying to encourage him, to think outside the box, and he's a Gemini, so I'm trying to help him put together those pieces.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the most we can hope to try to do.
Lay it out there for them.
You know, my 3.5-year-old is now just as much as he was a pirate before. He is now very much Puss in Boots, which is hilarious to hear him say, like pissed off, like, no, I'm Puss in Boots. It's like, I can't take that seriously, man. But you know, I call him El Gato, and that's the most I could do for him. Just let him have his sword, and we're good. Anyway, this week on Modern Mommies, we are going to be discussing kids and screens, gaming, movies, texting, you name it, you know it's an issue. And so we're going to be talking about that. We are going to be talking about sharing tips and tricks for inexpensive ideas for having family fun this spring break. And coming up later, we will have our Hot Daddy of the Week, so stay tuned for that. But to get us started, let's talk about something current and what's going on right now. What do you have for us today, Jennifer?
Okay, I have a story. This happened in Utah 2 days ago. There was a woman and her baby who were driving down the road, and she had a wreck and hit a concrete barrier, and it flipped her car upside down into this river that was like 40 degrees. It was super cold. Oh my gosh. Nobody saw the wreck, and so the car stayed there for 14 hours, and then a fisherman saw the wreck and called the police. As the police were running to the scene of the wreck to save the people, they heard this horrific screaming from this woman saying, "Help me, please help me, help us, help us." And one of the policemen, as he was trying to get into the car, even responded, we're trying our best to get in, just wait. But they kept hearing this scream. When they got into the car and flipped the car over, the mother they found was dead, so she had been killed in the car wreck, but her 18-month-old little girl was still alive after 14 hours in the river, hanging upside down by her car seat. And so, as the police officers were walking away, they were all kind of thinking to themselves, wow, I must have just been hearing things. This is really, really weird. But then the next day, when they were all talking about it, that's when they realized, holy crap, all 4 of us heard this mother or this person screaming for help, but the person's soul wasn't there, or, had left the body. And so I thought it was a pretty interesting story of just, a mother's love and the bounds that a mom will go to help her baby.
How could the baby have stayed warm in that even? Like how, and upside down? Like hanging
Upside down. And the baby was unconscious, but she's in critical but stable condition now. They said that there
So
were
it
just so
wasn't the
many.
baby crying.
Say that again.
So it wasn't the baby crying.
No, no, and the baby doesn't even speak. They were very clear what the woman was saying. Each of the police officers all said the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
In my mind, I'm like, maybe she hung on to the last minute and then let go right as she knew that they were safe. In my mind, I'm like, well, maybe it was this or maybe it was that. And that's how I approach most things. That's why I do the things that I do, because I question everything. I just can't help it. But I have once fallen asleep driving. I used to drive cross country for work all the time by myself, and I one time fell asleep right as I was entering my hometown, right as I was getting into Austin, and I woke up to hearing my full name, or my name screamed at me. Like, my name was screamed at me, and I woke up. And I was like, oh, just in time as I was veering off. I don't know what that was.
Who screamed it? It wasn't you. It wasn't you, or was it you?
I was asleep, and I was the only one.
The voice was the voice you?
It sounded like it was my own voice.
Yeah.
Screaming my own name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really weird. Why did you ask me that?
Because I've had that before.
Really?
Right when I'm about to go eat some chocolate or something. What's that guy? No, no. But I do have and I think it's my higher self, like telling me to wake up. Like, I think it's my higher self interceding, And with that woman, a lot of curiosity there. But I think hauntings are when there's so much emotion involved in the scene of the crime that it literally warps space-time and creates this kind of vortex energy, and leaves the residue of the trauma there, right? Often when a ghost haunts a spot, they are refusing to leave the spot. They're refusing to see the light because they are stuck in that emotional trauma, and they don't want to leave it go. So, in a poltergeist kind of way of, hearing her voice in that moment, screaming for her baby or screaming for help, one, she may not have believed she was dead. So she's, just like flipping out, but because she's like one step in the grave, she's breaking through that vortex kind of moment, and there might be something going on there. And there might be something always there, after that car is towed, that might turn into a screaming bush. Just saying, these things happen.
I can say that, I don't have a lot of fears in life, but one of them would be something like that, like knowing that there was absolutely no way to protect my child, which you can. I mean, on a deeper scheme of things, you can't protect your child, really. You can just only guide them. But, in that situation of being in an overturned car in a river with my child there, that would be enough to make me cling to something. Like, I wrap myself around that baby and keep him warm,
That is definitely a case where angels are known to come straight in. Like, particularly the child's angels. Like, a child's angels are usually always present, it seems. Like, never not.
Yeah.
And I think that in cases of miraculous discovery, it's the child's angels that are keeping that life force going. Because it's kind of an innocent thing, like if the mom made a mistake, like falling asleep or something.
Yeah. Well, and there were so many. Yeah, there were so many miracles in it because the way the car was upside down, the water rushed through the car for 14 hours, and it was literally only like 6 inches away from the baby. And so there were just lots of things that intervened and stepped in that it really looks like saved this baby's life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had divine intervention like that before. So you have to have it happen to you to believe in it. And then when you hear stories, you're like, yep. We see space-time warped.
Well, that being called in my own head by my own name, we once lived in this house when I was a kid. I was convinced that my mom was haunted, actually, because we lived in a few houses. We rented. But I once got called all the way to her room, which was it was a fairly large house, and I got called all the way from the downstairs far corner all the way up the stairs. Her bedroom was up in the far corner, so like the furthest away you could possibly be from two people in this house, or from somebody in this house. I got called all the way up there, and then got this uneasy feeling. She was homesick, and then I looked out the window, and across our yard, all the way on the other side of the yard, my mom was out there talking to somebody. Like, she wasn't even in the house. Freaked me out. Something tried to pull me into her bedroom. Calling me by my name, but that one wasn't my voice. That was her voice, and it freaked me out.
Wow.
That was crazy. A little different, though, you know. But that happened, and it really did weird me out. I remember it very well. But hearing it in my own head and as an adult was different. And it saved my life. It's pretty cool.
I've had my mother scream my name out in my head. My mother.
Whoa.
Like warning you?
Yeah, yeah, like that. Yeah, it's like a kind of like you're about to go over a cliff or something, like, you know, kind of like you know. And whenever I hear that, the first thing I do is like, well, check in on my mother. Like, oh, I hope that's not her in agony. That's your first question. You know. And then it turns out, and then I'm like, oh, what's she trying to tell me? What was I doing at that moment? Trying to figure out, like, then I start cross-analyzing, like, where that came from. But I've had it just, like, come out. And my mom would say that she's heard my voice come out, call to her, too.
Wow. When you fell asleep driving, was it your own voice or was it your mom's? Or was that...
Well, no, I haven't fallen asleep. I've fallen asleep driving, but I don't know what woke me up. It wasn't a voice, but something, you know, at the very last minute. It's a terrifying feeling, you know. And just to, like, relate another terrifying feeling, ever be driving across the country for a long time, and then you take a turn as the passenger, and you start to fall asleep as a passenger, and you think you're the driver, and you're like, oh my god, I'm all traumatized. I can't sleep in the car. It's so bad.
Yeah, I'm not real good at it either. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm worried the other person's going to fall asleep. I'd rather stay up and shovel coffee and be cracked out and drive knowing that we're safe than I drive
off topic, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. With that, thank you. Now let's move on to kids and screens. Going over the idea of turning off and tuning in to the world around you, but also Jennifer's got some ideas for ways that screens can be helpful. So we're going to cover both bases here. We know that our kids are plugged in. Even like infants are plugged in these days. So and it's really strange. I think my generation was the one. I was in high school when my junior year, when the librarian pulled us in one at a time to introduce us to this concept of the internet, and she knew which words to click on by, like, they were colored, so she knew it was a link. But I thought she was a magician. I'm like, how did you know what to click on? And then it takes you somewhere? What? And now it's just a fact of life. Kids are just, you know, and it's an amazing thing that they can be so they can communicate so well with each other, so from so far away, but and coming together and innovation and all the things that it'll prove in the future to be amazing about that. But then at the same time, we're having all of this skyrocketing ADHD and things like that. Jennifer, do you happen to have any statistics on or any like scientific data on screens and kids?
There is research that's shown that the more kids are in front of TV screens and computer screens, that it is causing higher incidences of maybe ADHD. The problem with that is they're able to show a relationship, but I don't think that they're able to actually say that one caused the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think that it varies a little bit. I think one of the biggest problems is, though, that because technology is so integrated into our lives so much, and like you said, even our kids are using them when they're 2 years old, we almost have to find that happy medium way to integrate it, but still have it integrated safely. You know, where they're not spending all their time on it, it's not causing all of these issues, but we're still using it to help our lives be better.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem is. That's hard to do.
I noticed my son had a couple of sick days where we spent in bed together, just curled up watching movies, and and that was great. But for 2 days of movies, after that, it's been rainy and gross outside, so we're kind of stuck in the house. And I found us like just reaching for a movie when we're bored, when he was bored. And I thought, no, actually, no, we're not turning the TV on at all today. We just did that for 2 days straight. And he fussed for a minute, but then he started getting into his toys he hardly ever plays with, and started being creative and building. And it was like it was no big deal. And he played by himself for 2 hours quietly. Wow, that would have been my babysitting movie break. And he did it all by himself, just being a creative kid.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to. I don't know. Like sometimes I feel bad about it, and sometimes I think it's helpful. He has a card game. I haven't found any like educational games for him that he's really into. What about your kids? Christopher, I'm sorry, Christopher, your son is like, his blog is about gaming.
He's a total maniac with games. It's like I mean, and I had an Atari growing up, and right off the bat, though, I saw a separation between me and my brothers. They were a little bit more into it than I was, and spending a little bit more time than I was. And right off the bat, I was like, doesn't it get repetitive? I mean, how many times can you try and die? It's like, to me, it was limiting. My son grew up completely with, Nickelodeon, Teletubbies, so he was a goner from age 2. And since then, it's, on the one hand, he's, I don't know what to think about it, because the truth is, if you look at his chart, the boy would be very introspective and pensive anyways. So if this was like the 1600s, he'd probably have his nose in a book the whole time, which I would be okay with, right? Now he's got his nose in all sorts of different virtual worlds, really. And, honestly, it's like as far as I'm concerned, try so hard to teach him stuff like, how to be a good father, all these types of things. He learned more from The Sims than he ever listened to me about. And I was like, you're shitting me, right? And it's basically playing digital dolls, like The Sims, and people are into it. It's just like you're doing what you have to do all day, which is go to a job, and I don't see anything fun about that virtual reality. But as I've come through it, I'm like, well, technology will be on their hip no matter what. That's a no-brainer, and I kind of put the responsibility onto the technology people. It's time for Silicon Valley to get a little bit more real. It's time for applications that point us back to life. You know what I mean? That make life better instead of pulling us out of life completely. We need more interactive, and believe it or not, with stuff like Google and stuff with the glass and stuff, that seems cyborg, but it also kind of is trying to find a comfortable, where I do want to know the temperature while I'm walking down the street. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to find a comfortable blend. I think this generation will have to go too far, and they'll have to pull themselves out and figure it out.
Ugh, that's a shame, because we've got so much creativity there. I mean, even me, I'm sitting outside. I go outside to enjoy the fresh air and the trees and the birds, and I've got my face in my phone, researching stuff, because I'm out there thinking, I get an idea, I go look something up, and then I'm like, God, how long have I been staring at my phone when life is right here all around me, not even paying attention?
What I love is looking at the Olympics or any modern sport now, people who are at the Olympics, and all you see is everyone's phones up, and you're just like, you're at the fucking Olympics, man. Oh, look at it with your own eyes.
Right.
I mean, it's so get in, man. I mean, everyone, even the athletes are walking on the field with their freaking iPhones. I'm like, this is just bad.
It is, and it separates you. It separates you from the moment. I mean, I saw that big time with my son when he was a baby. I wanted to capture every moment with a picture and video everything. Of course, as soon as I get the camera out, he quit doing whatever cute thing he was doing. So I've got a ton of video of him not doing the cute thing I thought he was going to be doing. But it kept me from that was a moment. I'm supposed to be interacting with my child, and I've got my phone up in my face, taking pictures of him instead of kissing his little belly or something,
I think that's one of the keys is figuring out how to use like your phone and iPods and iPads to become more connected with your kids. And there really are, like I went to a training about a month ago. There are a lot of apps and there are a lot of things that are out there that you can use to help do that.
Okay.
And I think it's just finding them and using them that way instead of having it take away from you. You know?
What are some of those? Because I want to hear some positive ways to use the screen since they're going to be on them anyway.
Well, there's a lot. Like there's like multi gaming for like there's games you can play with your kid. Like so that's kind of a way to stay in touch. Like I literally would play chess with my son. He'd be on the couch on his iPhone, I would be here on my iPhone, and we're actually playing chess. So it's like, okay, you know, like I'll you know what I mean? Like I'll do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay
like virtual
with that.
game board. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we're connected, we're playing chess. Like, do I care that it's cyber versus a real chessboard? No. He's right here, you know, but also he can be far away. There's that. There's other, you know, and then there's all kinds of well, he's in my Netflix, so like because we're both in each other's Netflix, like we're constantly sharing stuff we watch and stuff, you know, and like so there's that relationship which is kind of cool. Like, hey, check this out, Dad. Like, oh yeah, check this out. You'll like this, son. You know, and so there's interesting connection there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there even for younger kids, there are things like Heads Up. It's a game app where you can take your iPod and or your iPad. It'll give you a word and you put it on your head, and you try to get your kids to like guess what the word is. And then when they get it right, you can go down and up, and it'll give you a new word. So there are even ways that you can actually play the games with younger kids too. Yeah, there were tons of them.
Those fucking games, though, I don't. My son always wants to get those kind of games. There's one game where like our iPhones were swords and shit, and I was like, no, I know. And exactly, it was like 2 seconds before each of us flung our iPhone across the yard. I was just like, those ones where you actually use your phone. No, sorry, it's a device. It's not a toy. That's where I won't do it.
Yeah, ever since that week where I realized that we've been watching way too many movies, and we don't really. Like, I only let my kid's 3.5, so I have a lot of control over his TV choice. And he only watches in the morning, about an hour before school. He watches 2 shows on PBS. So, and really, it's not because I'm a snob about what kind of shows he watches. It's because I'm a snob about what kind of commercials he watches. Holy crap. The kids' channels are insane. I mean, that should be regulated. It really should. It's like commercial crack rock. It's insane. Like he's freaked out after 15 minutes watching Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. So we watch PBS. But after noticing that, I got out his arts and crafts box and like kept it right in the middle of the room so that it's not to be forgotten. And when I start noticing that we're like reaching for the movie, we go and make some kind of glitter poof paint something, you know, and that's been cool. A little bit more interaction with mom, you know, is important. So
it is important. There was another app out there where you don't have to use like your phone as a weapon. It was called Puppet Pals, and you can get with your kids and you can make little puppet scenes, and they can act out. It'll like let you pick your scene and your storyline and all of these things, and then you can act out different storylines and emotions and things like that too. And so that at least gives you the opportunity to be creative, you know? Yeah. And that's kind of, I think, the key is just using it and incorporativity and spending time with your kids at the same time.
Using it as a tool. I want to put, like, the other thing is, like, you know, I love having, you know, having Kindle books, and I've been encouraging my son to read on his iPhone when he has time and read interesting things he might like. And so, you know, I think that's also helpful. So giving them other resources besides the games.
Did you say give you some more resources besides the games?
Giving the children more resources besides the games. There's also a game that we play called Duolingo where we're both learning Spanish. And so Duolingo like tells us how far we are in competition with each other.
Mm-hmm.
and keeps us in touch with like who's on higher lesson and stuff. So, and Miles will try to
Mm-hmm.
outsmart me and say something in Spanish when he sees me that I should have learned in Duolingo, that kind of thing. So,
Oh, that's cute and
Yeah.
snarky.
Well, they even have apps and things like that to help keep track of money and chores and stuff too for younger kids.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
Tons
not
of
fun.
things like
Like,
that.
they're not going to be doing that, for fun. You know,
Well, there was this.
when Zane was real little, someone gave when he was a baby, someone gave us some leapfrog videos for learning. Was it the
The alphabet and
the talking word factory and the talking letter
Yeah.
factory? And my kid was like a year old and knew all of his ABCs. Somehow he forgot them all and relearned them. He only forgot half of them and relearned them, but like he knew all of his ABCs. He could, when he was just learning how to walk, and I pointed at something and said, "What letter is that?" And he goes, "D." And like all the grown-ups in the room were like, "Holy crap, that was." That's how he learned it, was because like Mama needs a minute, Put in this leapfrog video, and holy crap, my baby knew the ABCs. That was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
one. There are also apps where like one that was called like Life 360, where you can have your kids, if they're older, download the app, and you can push a button and it has everybody check in. So like, okay, as a teenager, this would totally suck. But now that I have teenagers, this is greatness because it tracks your kid constantly. So like it'll say, Ryan has arrived at school. Ryan has left school. And I can push a button that says check in, and it'll show me where all of my kids are according to GPS at that moment, which is beautiful. They can't ever.
You get that. You get that just as if you have your whole family on iPhones, you can check in on your whole family. Which is I've been using that since the beginning to check on my son.
Wow.
See where he really is, and
Yes.
it's a huge security. It's a huge security for me to be able to know where he is, and what's kind of cool too. Apple revealed the iWatch this week. So speaking of screens, like Apple brought out this new iWatch, which is a second or third screen in your life, right? Yet another screen. And, it's going to be a complete luxury item, really. I mean, we don't need this at all. And even like an iPhone, we don't have to have it at all. But if we have it, it like takes one step deeper. Now, one of the interesting things about the watch is it's monitoring all your vitals. So it's monitoring your vitals and it's going to your iPhone. So the cool thing is now a parent can check to see if the heart is fucking beating.
That's really strange. But it makes me
know.
wonder. We've got all of these gadgets.
Thank God his heart's beating somewhere in
We've got all
Nebraska.
of these gadgets, and we haven't even touched on the idea of the EMF and Wi-Fi signals disrupting, and that's a big deal. And we can't get into that right now because that could cover an entire show, but maybe we could cover it soon. But with this watch, that's one that that's like touching your skin all day long. That's interesting.
It's monitoring. Yeah, I think it's Bluetooth from the watch to the phone, so it's not using the same technology as a cell phone to talk to the phone. It's using Bluetooth technology. So I think that is a different vibration. However, it's monitoring. It's got little things on the back of it that monitor your pulse and stuff, and they're doing some real profound stuff with it. I watched the keynote address with the president, the CEO of Apple, and Tim Cook was saying that like they're working with lots of universities, so like for diabetes and other sorts of long-term illnesses like breast cancer and whatnot. Now people can download a certain app and they can contribute to the research, or they can contribute their vitals, all sorts of interesting things. So iPhones are able to monitor now the health and conditions of people over long term. And that's going to give medical science a lot more empirical evidence, because a lot of people who go in for trials and stuff are kind of weird people anyways, or whatever. They're in it for the wrong intentions versus like this is a cross population. So I think with technology, it's like we need to not let it take over our life. We cannot let it take over our life. But I also think that we do want to let it go ahead and take over the mundane of our life. We do want to go ahead and let human beings relax into enlightenment. Let's go ahead and let the robots pick the fruit. Why not? As long as they don't revolt against us or run Windows, we're going to be okay.
Yeah. There is about like with technology and with all these games and everything, it's like a dopamine. Dopamine is your pleasure signal, and that's what is stimulated with sugar addiction and other addictions, which is like I've noticed myself since I've had my phone in my hand for the last few years that sometimes if I'm having a particularly tense day and I'm not relaxing very well, I start feeling antsy, like I gotta check this or do that or whatever, and not just like relaxing. And I feel like there might be some sort of like addiction, compulsive thing going on there, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's immediate gratification and when you talk about sex and everything else, it's like, especially for sex and whatnot. And like, I don't know, like for me as a father, like my son was getting a little to his phone. I was like, we're going to Hooters. He got out of his phone, man. Sometimes, like, you just got to pull the kid out.
Okay, see, that's a huge thing. No, I would never, ever in a million years have thought of that.
Well, it's a boy thing. But I was just trying to see, like, would he notice actual breasts or would he stay in his phone?
Right.
Like, that was my intention.
Is he watching porn in his phone? Because that's so,
Yeah, but it's not real. Like, there's a difference. Would you rather be looking at boobs on a screen or, like, in real life?
I gotta use word. The boobs in Hooters are not real either. But I'll tell you. Right. So it's like one step closer. It's like 3D, like fantasy. Like this is like here's a role play. You want to play a role play game, son? Go to Hooters during a happy hour. That's a role play.
Well, there you go. Well, spring break. We've got spring break coming up. Some people have spring break right now. For most of the country, I believe it starts next week. And we're going to take Hooters off the table, but say, what are some inexpensive ideas that we can do to have a good time for spring break, and maybe some that don't include the screen. Yeah. What ideas do you have there, Jennifer?
Okay, one idea that I saw was have your kids go on a scavenger hunt. And you can do this a couple of ways. There's a website, mykidsadventure.com, and it already has pre-made scavenger hunts for you. And so you can pick the area you want. Do you want it at a park or where? And just print it off. So it's really already made for you. And it's getting your kids out and about and actually, letting them do something. The teen version of that is that whole geocaching. And I don't know if you've heard about that. Have you heard about that?
I have heard of that.
I really kind of started looking into it, and it seems pretty cool. It's totally free. You go to geocaching.com, and it gives you the coordinates of different treasures. They call it caches. And you go in like a clue, and you go around your town looking for this treasure. And when you find the treasure, you sign the book, and there's usually like a little trinket in there, and you take a trinket, and then you can go and find the next thing. So it's kind of like a real-life scavenger hunt. You're incorporating technology, but for the older kids, my kids are a little bit older, I think they would really enjoy something like that. And it's free.
I would enjoy that. That sounds like...
I know. See, it's something that your older kids and the parents can do, and you're not feeling like you're wanting to stab yourself, One of those things.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was cool.
I want to throw out for younger and older kids, really this is for parents. This is something that I have recently discovered, and it was amazing, is multi-family camping. So you get other families, so that your kids have built-in kids, and then you have many parents that are all responsible collectively for the collective group of children. Some neat things that happen is you start to see like other parenting styles it's just naturally happening. Seeing how other people I'm a single mom and I'm like super nurturing, and my kid can be kind of mouthy sometimes, but being able to sit back and have other parents deal with it, like
yeah, we love that. No, I was kidding.
Man, it worked too. After 3 days of being out there camping with the family, it's like I had a week of this very orderly child. I learned
peer pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. Plus. What it felt like was the way things are meant to be, like just nobody's in a rush to go anywhere. We had no phone signal, no internet. We just had these like campsites and cabins in a circle and just had all this land, and the kids ran free, and the parents did whatever the hell we wanted to because there was always a parent paying attention. Like it was so cool. One really great idea for that is get glow-in-the-dark bracelets to put on their arms and wrists, for in the evening so they can run wild like Lord of the Flies, and you can like count the bracelets in the darkness and just know that you still have 5 kids out there.
That's genius.
Yeah.
That is really genius.
A lot of our national parks are actually providing free wireless now.
Well, you know, don't tell the
Seriously,
kids.
which actually is kind of comforting. That like if you lose your wife or something, you can call her.
Yeah.
I mean, like not that you want to bring the phone on the trip, but the other cool thing about just to like bring technology into nature too. I love the family thing. Is like you can actually like take a picture of a leaf and Google will tell you like that's an hibiscus, blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
you can take pictures of things. So like to me, I was like, wow, that's so cool. Too bad I don't have a fucking signal in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, is that poison ivy I just stepped in? Yes.
Yes. The first day it was weird, and then the second day I felt so relaxed because there was not one thing on my to-do list. There was no one I could call back or email or anything. Like there was nothing I could do aside from enjoy myself. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
And eat. I find that everything when I go camping, everything centers around the meals.
Oh
as
yeah.
Soon as you're done with lunch, you're like, what's gonna be for dinner? That's what I find.
You're hungry constantly. Hungry.
Eating. Yeah, exactly. Eating is a big part of it. It's like such a big deal, which is fun, But
isn't that what it would have been like way, way, way back in the day before we had like buildings and such? I mean, like when we were tribal nomadic people, it was basically all about the food, right?
All day long.
All day.
Your whole day's about food.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. I have another one for you. I love science, and so I'm kind of a science person. And there is a website called sciencebob.com where you can get all kinds of really cool science experiments. And they're made with, I don't know if y'all can see that. Can you see that? They're made with all kinds of, here we go, I'll present to everybody. Can you see it? They're made with just general stuff that you would find around your kitchen, so it's super cheap. And he has a little video that goes along with it if you're not sure what to do, but all kinds of little like cool science experiments. This is one where you make like a lava lamp, and it's made out of vegetable oil, water, and I think food coloring, and an Alka-Seltzer. And the Alka-Seltzer is what makes it bubble up. And so just little neat science experiments. My kids love to do that kind of stuff.
Lava lamp.
Yeah, and there were just tons of them, and totally free, or what you need around your kitchen.
Wow.
And so I thought that was kind of neat.
So with that, they're like getting kind of dirty in the kitchen, like doing weird stuff they're not used to doing. They're learning really neat stuff, and they're getting mommy time or daddy time.
Yes.
One-on-one time with their parents, which is so important. I've noticed lately when my child is being more extreme than usual, I just stop what I'm doing and I turn to him and I don't give in to whatever he's being extreme about, but I just like hang out with him for a minute. I'm like, obviously the kid needs some time. I've been really busy lately, so I've been noticing all of these things we've been talking about like just in my last couple of weeks. But having projects like that is really cool because they get to do it with you.
Yes, and that's the key. Here's another one. Speaking of nature, you can take this on your camping trip next time.
Okay.
It's making little bird feeders. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Super easy. You take just like cookie cutters, and that's bird seed and Knox gelatin, and you boil the gelatin to make it sticky. Put the bird seed in, and then you put it in the cookie cutter. And then you attach the string, and you have your little bird feeder.
Will birds actually eat that? I've always wondered.
Pinterest says it will.
All those types. No, I don't know. Well, it's certainly adorable. It makes a great gift, but I'm just wondering if birds will actually eat it. Like, they're like, what the fuck? I've just never seen a bird do that. I don't know. I know birds like corn and grain.
Well, it's birdseed. Birds eat birdseed, Christopher. Where have you been?
No, well, they fly up and pull it off of the sticky surface. I don't know. That's how I'm But it's pretty. It's pretty, though. They're cute. They're very. I love crafty stuff like that. My mom used to make, like, colored noodle stuff for us. We would, like, she would color noodles, and then we'd glue noodles to paper and stuff.
Hey, that's
yeah. I'd have the 3 wise men out of noodles. 3rd grade. My mom still has it. She hangs it up every Christmas.
So
Wow.
what do you do with all the arts and crafts that I am just now collecting? What do you do with the stuff that's crap? My mom saved it all. She had boxes and boxes of every piece of crap I made. Um,
Yes.
You do save it all. I don't think you
Yeah.
judge it. You don't judge it. You
Mhm.
save it all. Put
really?
in it. Yes, you put in a
Yes.
trunk and you save it all.
We're very
Mhm.
artsy. We make art like every day.
Mhm.
Well, whatever the kids, I don't know. I guess there's some discretion there, but I think that at the end of the day, it's like a child does cherish that, especially today. It's like having any tactile history of your life versus all this digital world.
Huh.
I
Mhm.
wonder about that, but it's like, we don't print out pictures anymore, so it's like if there was you'd lose your entire memory, not from a house fire, but just from a electromagnetic implosion. You know what I mean? So like what is printed out? What is stored on paper? I cherish cards that are sent to me now. Like those
Mhm.
things I never
Mhm.
throw away. I cherish anything on paper, even my kids' dorky school pictures. They're still like pictures.
Wow, see, I'm the
Yeah.
opposite.
Mhm.
I can't stand getting cards. I'm like, I love the sentiment behind it, and I love reading the loving words, but then keeping it feels like it's like pressure. It's like I gotta find a place to put this and like keep it safe forever. Like, but before my son was here, I really did travel cross country on the drop of a hat for work. So like everything I owned could fit in the back of a pickup truck, basically, and that's how I rolled. So when I
Mhm.
things like that.
Mhm.
I have like maybe one box of things that are incredibly sentimental, and that's about it. That and my guitar and my child. That's all I really care about.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
Well, when
keep
you're an old
everything too. Hmm.
I think it's like
Yeah.
it's all about being an old man. It's like like I think about when I want to go reminisce my life and have some stuff to look at. And to me,
Mhm.
I don't keep more than like I got like a trunk. This trunk that comes with me everywhere, and it's it goes back to like I got stuff in there from like third grade.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah. I do too. I still have probably, I can't say every single letter, but almost every single letter I ever got from my first boyfriend in the ninth grade.
Aw.
Everything. I have it in a little shoebox. It still
That
says
is
the same, every letter.
kind of
Hmm.
like
Every, I have the
embarrassing to go back and
corsage.
read that stuff though.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I was neurotic. I was a neurotic high school kid thinking, oh my gosh, everything.
Well, we said the same damn thing in every letter. I don't know how you write. Hey, what's up? How are you? You know the same thing every time.
All right.
But
All right. So the beach, a day at the beach. I wanted to
Mhm.
throw that in as an incredibly inexpensive full day with your family for spring break. Is just go to the beach, bring some shovels for your kids, and find a big umbrella to sit under. But next week we're going to be discussing natural sunscreen because next week for most kids it's going to be spring break
Mhm.
and prepping for this show today, I came across a lot of stuff about all natural sunscreens as an idea for the beach day. And there's so much. It's really great info. So I really want to cover it deeper next week. So definitely come
Mhm.
tune in next week for a little bit more information on this. But basically, when I was growing up, it was a monthly expense for me during the summer was sunscreen, sunblock. I mean, I had more
Mhm.
blistering burns by the age of 15 than I think should be like I can't count how many times I've been seriously burned. But I ate a bunch of crap, and I lived off of sugar and processed foods, and now I know that that's why. So we kind of briefly talked about that before. When talking about vaccines and the FDA and what they know about the body and how much they don't know, is that your skin oils are directly related to the things that you consume. So if you're consuming chemicals and processed
Mhm.
things and sugar and alcohol and whatever's in your medication, like all those things are coming out on your skin. So putting stuff that's not really good for you aside, eating things that are, so prep your kids a couple of days before. If you're not doing this already, it should be an all the time thing for all the time protection and healthy skin and body. But 2 days before, you need 24 hours of oil, of natural oil, to be able to be protected, and then it takes 48 hours after that to absorb the vitamin D. So make the most out of your beach experience and eat
Well,
red and orange fruits and veggies. Like, my son lives off berries first thing in the morning. Oh, he's never been burned, by the way, and I've never put sunscreen on him, and he is whiter than me. He starts every day with berries, especially like bright red berries. Another one that's really amazing is tomatoes. I saw a website suggesting spoonfuls of tomato paste every day. I don't think I could do that, but you can make tomato juice. But tomatoes, the lycopene is really great sun protection. So, I'm going to post a blog either tonight or tomorrow that's got this a little bit more in detail and a lot of helpful links. But definitely get those in your body, and coconut oil and healthy fats. With coconut oil, omegas in your skin, and don't use soap on your skin for 24 hours before and 48 hours after, because your oil is really important for protecting you from the sun and also to absorb all that wonderful vitamin D. So that's a tip for a beach day, is just prep your family. Next week,
Hey,
we'll go a little deeper. Yeah.
I have a question. You said, because I need to go to the beach soon. You said put, like, 24 hours before, put natural oil on?
No.
Like a
Eat these foods.
oil. Okay. With the natural oils in them.
You're going to be coming out in your skin. You know how you eat garlic and like the next day you reek of garlic just from your oil? You know? So avoid chemicals, like avoid eating crap, okay? And eat all those wonderful things. Eat a lot of red and orange veggies and fruit. Eat a lot of healthy saturated fats like coconut oil and omegas. And then also, coconut oil all by itself is a natural SPF of SPF 4. So you put this coconut oil on your skin for like running out and about during the day. It's a SPF 4, and it's good for you. Do you have the link to that? Here, there is a really cool website real quick. I am going to put it in the comments right here real quick.
Here, let me see. I think I have it.
Here, pull that up.
Okay, is it?
The link is right there in the comments. So also I want to show you this real quick, and then it's going to be in the blog post, because this is so cool. I found this to be really cool. Can I screen share it?
You can. Anyway. Okay. What am I? When I'm pulling it up? Oh, yes, I see it.
The link. So this is
and then
a real quick view of natural sunscreen that you can make at home. So you're going to probably need a few days to prep for that, to get all the ingredients. But look at that.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Now I'm sharing this link in the blog post that's going to be coming out tonight or tomorrow whenever I finish it. Scroll up so we can see the there's like a list of some oils. Go to the top, or closer to the top.
No, right there.
Okay, so we've got almond oil has an SPF of about 5. Coconut oil is a 4 to 6. Zinc oxide, you're supposed to make sure that you get non-nano, so you don't like breathe it in and absorb it in your skin. But zinc oxide is a natural sunblock. Red raspberry seed oil, that's really interesting to me. My son eats either strawberries or raspberries every morning and has never had a sunburn, and the kid is outside all the time. SPF 25 to 50. So if that oil is on your skin with that kind of block, imagine how your body would be if you eat that. Carrot seed oil, also, carrots are really good and they're orange, and shea butter. So those are just some of the ingredients you can whip together to make your own sunscreen. And that to me is fascinating, because sunblock itself is standing between you and the sun, so therefore is standing in between you and vitamin D, is putting chemicals directly into you and your children's bloodstream without going through the liver first. That is very toxic and leads to cancer faster than any of the other alternatives. So just look at your diet, and also maybe have some things like umbrella or whatever for when you need a break. But just think about that. All right.
Cool. All right.
Soapbox talking about a beach day. Sorry.
I love the beach. You can talk about the beach any day.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready for our hot daddy of the week?
Yeah, do we have a drum roll, please?
Okay.
I've got a drum roll here.
Okay, drum roll away. All right. Our hot daddy of the week is Dierks Bentley. And can you see that?
I can.
You can see him. Okay, I have to show you. This was the cutest thing. He was in a concert and he was singing, and all of a sudden a little girl came up on the screen or on the stage and started singing with him. Well, it turned out to be his daughter, and the way that she was singing with him was the cutest thing in the world. And so that's why I nominated him for this week. The
What?
way in a second, the way she puts her hand on like his arm, it was just so sweet because you could tell that he does these things with her. And so one of the sweetest things that I've really seen in a long time. I'm going to play it for you, and then you can kind of see it.
It's like the hottest thing ever when a
Yes.
dad sings with his kids. I don't know
I
why.
know. I love that. And then she'll... And in a second, she'll put his arm on his little...
So sweet. Do we have sound for it or no?
Yeah, you can't hear the sound?
I can't. No.
Okay, let me see what I can do.
Do you hear sound on your side?
I do. I
So
can
I
hear
wonder-
this.
They had this set up and arranged that she was going to come out, huh?
I'm guessing. I would think so. I would think that
you
she
never
would
know.
have to be.
My son, I play
Yeah.
solo acoustic just like that, sitting down with my
Mhm.
guitar, and my son used to come out on stage. And my last gig I played, he didn't. He danced in front and didn't get on stage, and that was like a monumental breakthrough that he didn't
Yeah.
on stage with me.
So there's a good chance she just jumped up there on her own.
No.
The other part that was really sweet is he wrote that song for her when she was first born. Yeah, and so just that was really sweet.
Well,
Great hot daddy, yes.
We honor you, sir, for being this week's Modern Mommies Hot Daddy of the Week. Super, super, super hot, and we love seeing stellar daddies in action. So if you have a hot daddy at home, or if you know one and would like to see them honored here on Modern Mommies as the Modern Mommies Hot Daddy of the Week, send us a pic and a brief reason why, and we just might honor them live on the show. Send in your pictures. You can find us at modernmommies.me. We now have modernmommies.me. It's gone live. And you can find us there. You can find the blog there, and you can find links to other shows. You can contact us there, and you can upload your hot daddies there. So definitely send those in. Don't be shy. Yeah, we're looking forward to that because it's always wonderful to honor stellar daddies, and they love seeing it too. You would be so surprised at how much it means to them to see that they're being honored for that. So that brings us to the end of this week's Modern Mommies. It's been wonderful, and again, next week we're going to be talking about natural sunscreen. And I'm getting a little bit more in depth with that. Kind of went off.
I can't wait. No, but that's huge. There's so much that I think people don't know about it, and so that's going to be a really good topic.
The way that every system involving us and our bodies and nature all works together, it's amazing. And it's amazing that these things aren't put together by like the people that are supposed to be telling us about how to prevent skin cancer and things like that. Anyway, well, so that'll be next week on Modern Mommies. You can find our past shows at the Soul Garden channel at YouTube. And if you go there, please be kind and do subscribe to help us with our relationship with YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. Find the Modern Mommies group on Facebook and send us a request, and we'll let you in there. It's a private group, and also be looking for the blog. If you have signed our mailing list, you will get the blog post delivered right to your inbox. So, all right. We'll see you back next week at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on soulgarden.tv. Thanks for joining or being with me, Jennifer. Christopher had to go, so we'll say bye to him from afar. And And all right. Well,
Yeah.
until next week, live, love, be.